It's been quite the start of the season for Rubin Colwill. Vice-captaincy nomination, ferocious free kicks, and a central part of the Brian Barry Murphy revolution. So as it appears that the sun is currently shining on all things Cardiff City, we thought it would be only fitting to take Rubin to the wet and windy cliff tops of beautiful Ogmore to discuss life, both on and off the pitch.
Rubin, I'm a little overdressed for a cliff walk. We're in beautiful Southern Down. It's a little windy today, but it's a gorgeous part of the world. This is local to you?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's not too far from where I live, so yeah, I like to come down here every so often and just sit on the cliffs, have a look out at the sea, and yeah, just think about things.
So I suppose on that point, Rubin, we forget that footballers are humans too. You need to get away from football. You need to escape. You need to clear your head.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a very, very intense job. There's a lot of pressure, a lot of attention. So yeah, it's definitely important to get away from it all. Go to sort of escape the noise. When it comes to a place like this where it's quiet, you can always sit there with your thoughts and feel small in the world.
In terms of being human and human interest stories, you had a big summer away from football. You know, you got married. How big a day in your life was that?
It's one of those things in life where I feel like I just got really lucky, you know, to meet someone so perfect for me so early on in my life. Yeah, I'm just really lucky, you know. I think it's quite rare for people to get married and stuff younger these days. And yeah, to find someone that I really love so young was very special.
You seem quite a grounded individual, as you say. You are quite young to get married, but possibly going to even, you know, benefit your football, being settled, being happy.
Obviously, I don't get married and find a wife to benefit my football, but it definitely does roll over into other parts of your life, you know, and you've got that settled home life and you've got someone in your corner that supports you, wants the best for you every day. I think it definitely helps with every facet of life.
There was a lot of things said about last season, probably phrases used, too good to go down, and then the old football cliche, the league table doesn't lie. Was the truth somewhere in between? What are your thoughts about last season?
It's been a tough few years for all of us, you know, as a fan and a player. It's been pretty tough, but I think things happen for a reason, and I think sometimes you almost need that trigger point to start a sort of a reset, a rebuild type of situation. I listened to the Peterborough manager's comments after the game. He was saying that sometimes it's the best thing for a club to get relegated, to almost take one step back, take 2 steps forward, you know. So in the bigger picture, this could be a real defining moment for the club over the next 10 years, you know. It's a springboard for us, really, hopefully.
How long did it take for you to get over it, compartmentalize it? Did it affect you for a few weeks afterwards?
Yeah, definitely. I think the situation we were in, we were always in the fight from the start. So it was something that was in our heads from early on in the season. Obviously, that time throughout the year that you're dealing with it, you're thinking about things, you're trying to process the situation, how to best deal with the situation we were in. And you almost sort of gradually deal with it as the season goes on, but then it's one of those things that doesn't really feel real, I suppose, until you come back this season. Hopefully those experiences benefit this year.
But Colwill finds space on this near side. Oh, lovely feet from Colwill. Hit it! Yes! It's Rubin Colwill's moment!
Over the last few years, maybe with the exception of Aaron Ramsey, you're the Cardiff City player that people have spoken about the most, the media, fans, what have you. There seems to be a lot of pressure on you and a lot of expectation. How have you handled that?
With any footballer, there's obviously a lot of talk and a lot of noise. It's just part and parcel of the job, but I think nobody puts more pressure on me than myself, you know, so it's nothing more than what I'm putting on myself. So I think that responsibility almost lies on myself to manage and control how I feel about situations. If I'm playing well, how do I deal with that? If I'm not playing or not playing as well, or perhaps the manager wants to see something different in me, I think it's on my shoulders, my responsibility to sort of deal with and change or improve or keep doing what I'm doing. So I think over the last 4 or 5 years that I've been involved with the first team, I've been put in loads and loads of different situations. From when I first broke through, I had a really good year, really successful year. Broke through with Wales, got my first caps and appearances there. So it was almost a real high early on, and then probably followed with some lows, with some tougher seasons where I didn't play so much, struggled with injuries. And maybe the demands the managers wanted of me were probably different from what my natural skills were. But I think it's something you've got to always try and take responsibility for. Things in life always change. It's never going to be the same. So I've got to keep adapting, keep changing, and trying to mould myself to what the managers want. And I think that's something I've learned with time, and also the pressure of performing. I think you almost can't control how you play on a Saturday, but you can control the little details of everything you do. So if I wake up every day and do all the small details right, do everything right, then it gives me a much better chance to perform on a Saturday than if I was just hyper-focused on the result, you know. So I think, yeah, I've learned a lot, and hopefully these next few years will be really successful for myself and the club. So.
We'll keep walking because I think we've picked the windiest place on the cliff to
yeah.
stop and talk.
Yeah.
You mentioned the injuries, and it almost seemed a bit patronising to you, but again, you know, there was a lot of talk about growing pains and a young man growing into an adult man's body and trying to be a professional footballer at the same time. What were those injuries like?
Since I was probably not a kid, but maybe my early teenage years, my height now is obviously an asset for me, but at the time it probably felt like a bit of a curse, you know. I struggled a lot with my tendons, hamstrings. I had a few issues with my feet, knees, probably everything you can imagine, really. But I think, again, it's one of those experiences that kind of not make or break you, but almost you can feel down on yourself and feel bad for yourself, but you can try and turn those things into a positive. I think that I used that time to learn, understand my body, to educate myself on how the body works, how I myself work. And I think the injuries I had after I broke into the first team were probably in a similar sort of caused by a similar reason, but then that past experience almost helped me get through that, and I think I was a lot better for it. I'm obviously still learning. I think sometimes I push myself too much in my head because I want to play so much. I'll probably convince myself and feel better than I do.
Yeah.
And that's definitely something I did in that period, but I think I've learned from that now, and I'm a lot more in tune with my body. And also the physical demands, I think, for my position and my body shape, my size probably weren't very aligned. So I was playing that pocket, a lot of change directions, but something I really worked hard on to make myself capable of doing. You know?
There's a raft of academy players coming through now, and that's credit to Darren Pearce, Gavin Chesterfield, the whole club. But there'd been a few years where there hadn't been academy players coming through, and you were the first, you burst onto the scene. Did you feel under pressure? And because you sort of set the tone, can you now provide that experience to the young players coming through?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was a difficult period for the academy lads to almost break through. I remember watching a lot of lads older than me that were unbelievable, great players, but almost didn't get their opportunity. And that's no fault of anyone really, but just the situation of the club when you're playing in the Premier League, or the top end of the Championship, pushing for the Premier League. There's almost no time for development, no space for it. That's almost changing now. I think you see the clubs like Sunderland and stuff getting promoted with almost younger squads. I think football's moved on a bit, and the trust in youth and the educational part of football's will come on a lot. You know, I think an example of that would be us this year. We've got a really young squad, a lot of young players, but the manager's got faith in us and himself to be able to coach us and teach us what he wants. That's a step forward for the club and for football in general, really.
It's a good segue there into the manager. Everything he says, at least to us in the media, seems positive. Is that the way it's been since he came into the dressing room?
Yeah, I think so. I think the positivity helps. You know, it was probably quite a negative environment from last season. I think we were all second guessing ourselves in our abilities, in our thoughts on how we should play the game. But he's come in with that confidence, like a really clear idea, clear picture of what he wants us to do. And it rubs off on us, you know, that excitement, that energy that he brings almost feeds into us. And then the more we learn, the better we get. I think that then just, it's a momentum thing, you know, it just keeps building and building. So.
He said in his first press conference that he knew about this Cardiff team, he knew about the players, and actually he referenced you and your potential. What goes on, conversations between players and managers, that's your business, but did you have that conversation, and did he tell you what he knew about you as a player and what he thought you were capable of?
Yeah, we've had conversations about lots of things, what to improve, how to impact games, how to be effective, but I think it's more of a general thing for the team, you know, not me personally. I think he's been really clear on whoever commits the most to the plan, whoever puts the most in is gonna play. So it's more of a team thing where this is what I want us to do. You know, it's up to you guys to try and do it to the best of your abilities, and then it's up to him then to pick who he thinks is capable of doing it the best. So it's more of not a focus thing on myself personally, but I think he set out what he wants us to do, and then it's up to us then to almost implement it, you know. So.
Of course, when a manager comes in, he instantly gets authority, credibility, respect from the players. But for fans and again, people in the media, the fact that the manager had been at Manchester City, has worked with the likes of Pep Guardiola, that excited us as fans. Did it excite you as players?
Myself personally, I try not to look into too much that's gone on before. Just take things for what they are when he arrives, you know. And I think you can see that he's been in those places. You know, the references he makes, the almost way he communicates, the belief he has and the confidence he has in his ideas probably only comes from taking them from a place like Manchester City where you have won consistently, and you have a right to be confident in your beliefs. So yeah, it's definitely something I would say that's good for all of us.
So Rubin, I know you got a training session later, so I want to give you some protection. Let's go and find a nicer spot.
Yeah.
Just while we move over there, the question I wanted to ask you is, he seems like a cool, composed, calm customer. The hairdryer treatment, the Alex Ferguson way, does that still exist? Or do modern players maybe not respond to that?
Yeah, I think it definitely still exists. I've had it a couple of times so far, so yeah, it's definitely still there. But I think it's good to have a mix, I think you need to be encouraging, you need to be positive, but then I think there are times where you need to put your foot down and say how it is, So it's definitely a mix, but it is moving towards that more positive, nicer side.
So this season, of course, there is pressure, there are expectations, but again, credit to the manager, credit to you. In interviews I've seen with you, you're not shying away from those expectations. So the club is trying to embrace that pressure of going on a promotion charge.
Yeah, I think there's nothing wrong with expectations. I think that we do need to be patient. I think it's you don't win the league in the first 2-3 months. So there's going to be a lot of learning, a lot of mistakes made, but I think we're in a really good position to hopefully be challenging when the business end of the season comes, and then it's up to us then to almost capitalise on all the learning and the change that we've been through. So.
An awkward angle for a shot on goal from Colwill. He lines up to it and he does and he does pick out the top corner. It's a ludicrous piece of skill from Rubin Colwill, the Cardiff City captain.
Two more questions I want to ask, and the first one is about the Peterborough game, because in terms of a trifecta, you were captain, you scored a free kick, and you played with Joel, and you were both in the starting 11. As days go, that doesn't get more special.
It's one of them things that you don't really ever expect to happen. I think me and Joel, we've been training since we were 4, 5, 6 years old. Playing out the back, playing together, coming up to Cardiff to train, and it's been work in progress. So it's something incredibly special and something we'll remember for the rest of our lives, really.
Just talking about ambitions for this season, perhaps away from Cardiff City, when you did burst onto the scene, you also burst into the Welsh squad, and your form at the moment has people excited that maybe there's the opportunity for you to get into that squad again. What are your ambitions? Have you spoken to the manager, and has he given you any kind of alleviated any fears that even as a League One player, you can still make that Welsh team?
Yeah, my aspirations are always to play as much as I can, and I've always, any Welsh boy, it's their dream to play for Wales, and I've been very fortunate to do that a number of times, but I'm hungry for more. I want to keep playing, I want to keep qualifying for major tournaments, so I'm going to keep doing everything I can and day to day to keep working hard and ensuring I'm in a good place to be selected. I haven't had conversations recently with Craig, but from the conversations we've had in the past, he's very much, again, if you're playing well, if you're doing really well and you're doing the things he wants, you'll get selected. So I think it's on my shoulders then to keep working hard, to keep playing well and keep myself in a good place. So I'm available for selection and hopefully, I get picked. So.
Coming back to the point about the academy, in recent years, perhaps Cardiff haven't always had a lot of representation in the Welsh squad, but in the next 3, 4, 5 years, maybe Cardiff City could provide the spine of that Welsh squad.
Yeah, I think it's an exciting time for everybody involved with the club, with the academy, all the younger players. I think we've got a massive opportunity now to kick on, to show everybody what the club's academy has produced and is capable of producing. Yeah, and I think it's a fantastic thing for the local area that there's so many local lads in the team now, and hopefully it's inspiring, for the younger generations and younger kids.
Rubin, we thank you for your time today. You've got about an hour before training starts. I think you get a towel, go and dry out.
Yeah, nice shower, I think.